And just like that, we've got a trade, y'all. Look at this. Pascal Siakam on his way to the Indiana Pacers. Looks like those rumors that Shams was kind of talking about yesterday are true. If we look at the deal, and I've got stuff coming in like right now as we speak, but if we look at the deal, we've got Pascal Siakam heading to Indy in a trade that centers around Bruce Brown, who just joined the Pacers this year, and 3 first-round picks. The Pacers are finalizing a trade to acquire Pascal Siakam in a deal that will send Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks to the Toronto Raptors. New Orleans will be the third team in the deal, sending Kiara Lewis to the Raptors as well. All right, so initial thoughts just off the top of the dome. Pascal Siakam is a very good player, and at the end of the day, when you get the best player in a trade, that's a good thing, I guess. As to like what they're getting in Pascal Siakam, they're getting a guy that's scoring 22 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. The power forward position was their most needed position to be filled. They really didn't have like a true power forward that they could throw out. Their rookie this year, and Jarris Walker, hasn't been much of a player so far, and you know what? Now they've got an all-star caliber player to pair with Tyrese Halliburton. Pascal Siakam can do a little bit of everything. He's a good passer, he's a good rebounder, he can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He's big, he's strong, he plays defense. He's a jack of all trades, right? And the Raptors have been kind of trying to blow this team up since OG Anunoby was moved, and well, let's be honest, they were trying to do it a bit beforehand when they lost Fred VanVleet and everything, and they're like, okay, we're not doing anything with this team, let's tear it down, build it back up with Scotty Barnes, which we'll talk about that in a second. But as far as just like initial reaction to this, I don't hate the move at all, and I'm reacting to this in real time, and I'm thinking about, I'm like, Pascal Siakam worth 3 first-round picks? At what age do we have him at? He's 29, so I don't hate the move like at all. I really don't. 3 first-round picks for him. Like, that's a lot of picks and everything, but assuming that the Pacers are going to be, like, in playoff contention and stuff, like, that's probably fine. And as far as the players you're giving up, you're losing out on a Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown was having his best scoring season of his NBA career, part of that probably because he had the ball a little bit more in Indiana, right? And he's got Tyrese Halliburton setting him up. So, but you're not losing, like, an elite three-point shooter or anything. He was a very good defender. We know he's a proven playoff player and winner and everything, but you'd much rather have Pascal Siakam, right? Because this opens up the door for guys like Benedict Mathurin to have a little more minutes, right? Buddy Hield's a guy that plays this kind of the same position and everything. So I don't think you're losing out on a ton by just dumping Bruce Brown here. He was only there for half a season anyway. There's only so much he was really contributing to the team. We can look at Jordan Nwora, a guy that he hasn't really been much in the NBA. He's been a decent three-point shooter. That's kind of all I really know him for, is being a decent three-point shooter, and even this year it hasn't really been there. His minutes are just kind of down though in general. So this feels like more of just a salary filler, so I'm not too worried about that. And then we don't exactly know how the Pelicans are involved with this, so I'm checking this stuff in like real time to kind of see what's going on with it. But the Pelicans getting involved in this somehow, I don't know exactly what they're doing. Maybe they're taking on a salary or something. Why the Raptors want Kiara Lewis, I'm not quite sure. Do y'all remember when I can't remember, David Griffin or whatever, he still runs the Pelicans, right, as the GM, I think. He was like, yeah, we don't really want Lonzo Ball here because we want to give Kiara Lewis more minutes. Yeah, that was stupid. I don't care what you say about Lonzo Ball right now and his injuries. That was just stupid. Look at this. There is nothing here to look at in terms of Kiara Lewis. So I'm sure they're just throwing him in to make the trade work somehow. So Raptors fans, you got 3 first-round picks out of this. I presume Siakam, he was kind of saying that he wanted to explore free agency regardless this offseason. So, like, he wasn't coming back to you guys. So you got 3 first-round picks for him. I'd say you're probably pretty happy with that. Now, let's take a look at like the OG trade plus the Siakam trade. You walked away with 3 first-round picks, kind of a late first-round pick in that Detroit pick that you got from the Knicks. And then you got like RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Bruce Brown. Like, you have all these players that are like very competitive. Like, if they can make like 2 or 3 more trades somehow, like, that's not going to happen. But like, you've got all these players that other teams would want, right? Like, maybe somebody takes a flyer on a Gary Trent and he looks a little bit better. Maybe Dennis Schroeder doesn't want to be there anymore now that Quickley's taken his roster spot, right? Like, anybody will want Bruce Brown. But yeah, you don't necessarily have a ton to look at right now. Like, Quickley's looking good, RJ's looking really good for you so far, so that's exciting, right? You've got kind of these 3 younger dudes, those 2, and then the other one being Scotty Barnes that you're kind of looking at, but you didn't really get anybody in this trade that you're maybe over the moon about. You're not sad to have Bruce Brown on your team, but you know, you've got a lot of these dudes that are kind of like bulkier wings that aren't shooters on the team now. So I don't expect the Raptors to be winning a ton of games, right? Especially now with Spicy P gone, is what it is. But you acquired a lot of draft capital for it, so I don't know. If I was a Raptors fan, I'd be like, well, we're going to lose them anyway, so let's at least get 3 first-round picks out of it. If we look at where the Pacers are right now, they're currently in the 6th seed, so they're above the play-in, and you presume that this is a good thing for them, right? We look at their roster here, and we see that like they didn't have a second go-to player outside of Halliburton. Like Miles Turner, very quality NBA player, right? Benedict Mathurin is a young guy that isn't like necessarily great from three-point range. I'll call him a little bit inconsistent because he's usually either on fire or he's not, and that's why you get to this like 37% from 3, 38 from 3. So it's kind of like hit or miss a lot of nights, but he attacks with a lot of ferocity and stuff like that. And he's still kind of learning how to play within the game. You got guys like Buddy Hield who are just catch and shoot guys, right? And then it's all guys that can't really get their own shot. Now you've got another guy that you can kind of run offense through. Siakam's a guy that you can put up at the high post or something and run some screens or some handoffs with guys like Buddy Hield, Naismith, right? Maybe Obi Toppin's cut into the hoop or something. He can play next to a Jalen Smith. He just fits in kind of wherever you decide to put him, right? I'm really glad they didn't end up having to get rid of Buddy Hield too, because I'm not going to lie, I think that was something that was really helping Halliburton a lot this year, is just having a guy that's that deadly as a catch and shoot shooter. So I think having some spacing around Siakam is going to be really valuable. That's usually when he's at his best, and everybody's going to be a capable shooter around him now. So you look at a lineup of Halliburton, probably Buddy Hield. Do you throw Mathurin then at the 3 with Siakam and Miles Turner? Is that kind of what we're thinking for this team? Are they a championship contender? No, but I think it's important to remember nowadays that like free agency doesn't like exist anymore. Like guys don't get to free agency, and maybe Siakam still does leave. And if he just left, I mean, that would just be a complete disaster, right? You completely lose this trade then, but we're all smart enough to know that. But there's not big players that like hit free agency anymore, so you have to do things like this to get them. So the fact that you have him on your team now, you've acquired another star level player to help kind of continue to build on this progress that you've made with Halliburton in like his next full year with the team. You've got winning players around him now. Again, you didn't have to give up much to get Pascal in this move. You were able to keep onto a Jarris Walker, so you can keep building around him. You didn't give up like a Jalen Smith, an Obi Toppin, Naismith, or a Buddy Hield, who, like I said, is really valuable. So I like this move a lot. And I was just reading that Siakam is excited to start negotiating a new contract with them. So awesome. I think this is great. If you're a Raptors fan, you got your draft picks. I don't know completely where the Pelicans fit in with all of this, but Kiara Lewis is off their team now. He was a non-factor anyway. Who really cares? Does this put them above any of these other teams on here? Hard to say, depending on the night. Maybe the Cavaliers or something like that. I'm not sure this even necessarily makes them better than the Knicks, but man, I would love to see these two teams play right now. They've got some really identical rosters going on. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. I like this move in terms of initial reaction and everything. I'll be curious to see how they kind of work these two in together. And at the end of the day, if you're a Pacers fan, you should be excited that you've just got some more winning basketball coming in to help you build next to Tyrese Halliburton. But yeah, guys, that's it for now. Let me know what you think in the comments and everything. How do we think this is going to work? Where does this put them in terms of ranking in the East? And if you're a Raptors fan, what do you think of the return? Let me know in the comments, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.